Thank you very much. A real pleasure to be with you all today. And I really want to, I think to some extent, build upon Nancy's last comments and talk about the scalable, actionable design solutions that will invite urban residents towards choosing healthier foods and changing some of their habits. So sort of focusing on people between the supply and demand side that Nancy was mentioning. And really what I hope is that we can create a call for city leaders and advocates, but also private corporations to collaborate to make the healthy, sustainable, affordable food choice the easy choice for people in cities. And so what I mean by that is that, typically we've thought maybe that the way that we eat has to do with our conscious choice and made in response to signals of hunger or our personal feeling. But we know now more and more that the way our communities are designed, what we call the foodscape, the public space, public life, and the access to food places really influence our food behavior. And so physical cues that might be visible, like signage, sidewalk space, presence or lack of seating, also of produce, like Nancy was saying, as well as invisible cues, smells, sounds, presence of other people. All of these elements can have a big role in the decisions we make. And so for us, the question is, how do we design to make it easier for people to make the right choice? So what I mean, so an example of that, working in South London, in a part of the city where 52% of children aged 12 to 16 are obese, we spent time with these youth, understanding about their everyday behavior, where they spend time, where they make their food choices. And we found that 2/3 of all the youth in this age group, 2/3 of them, when they're spending time in the city, they're at bus stops. Bus stops are the place where they can hang out, be with one another, yes, wait for transit, but that's where they spend a lot of time. We also know that fast food, unhealthy food, follows public transportation. So bus stops are usually located next to unhealthy food options, and fast food chains will pay a premium to be close to these transit locations and be close to where kids are. We also know that places like McDonald's have done a great job of inviting children, especially teens, to spend time there. Wi-Fi, varied seating options, etc. So this sort of connection between places where people eat, the transit, and people's everyday lives, that bus stop is just an example of a place where the food system meets people every day. But it's not only bus stops. Of course, it's school routes, it's the location and design of supermarkets, the design of kiosk corner stores, and the public realm in general. So the question is how do we scale, how do we make interventions that can be scaled not only in places like London, but also in places like Lagos? I have 3 sort of call to action points that can, I think, make a difference here. The first one is that we need this lived experience data. We need to know how people are making their food choices, what their everyday lived experience is like, and what options they're faced with every day. We need concrete evidence and data about people's lived experience. Second thing is that we actually need to engage actively with the people whose lives we want to improve. Mm-hmm. So we can enlist community researchers, especially youth, people like Pamela, you heard earlier, and others, to collect some of this data and bring their tacit knowledge together with more professional knowledge around social science, public health, et cetera. And the last thing is we have to much more proactively partner with the private sector. Making healthy, sustainable food affordable isn't financially viable unless we're actively engaging the private sector in this dialogue to have implementable solutions in an innovative way. So this is the hope, that we can make healthy, sustainable, affordable food choices the easy choice for people in their everyday life, but we can only do that through that form of collaboration. Thanks.
Thank you so much. That was so interesting. And yes, of course, the bus stops are key. And you put it in such a very